Hello everyone, my name is Lorraine and here I am glistening under the sun with my homemade cocoa butter shea butter lotion. I don't know about you, but those last few months I've been struggling to read books and finish them. I really wondered if it was because of social media, because I don't spend as much time on them as I used to, or if it's just I can't be bothered thing. The thing that I found quite interesting is that I found myself being able to read history books, sociology books, personal development, because it's quite easy to read. It's written in a really simple form. But regarding fiction, I've been struggling a lot. And I find this interesting because I always had an expansive imagination and I used to be really good at manifesting. I don't know if you're into this, but I've been struggling to even project myself in the future or imagining things for my future, which has never been an issue for me. And I don't know if it's a general thing with whatever is going on with the world right now. And I would love to have your opinion on this. So now I'm not wearing sunglasses. My glasses are just tinted because your girl is sensitive to the sun. So logically she chose to film that video in the sun. So these are books I picked up from the library, and I guess they will be recommendations because I've started all of them and couldn't finish them, and now I have to return them. So I think at some point I'm just gonna take them back out if the library would allow me to borrow them again or loan them to me. It's interesting because borrowing and loaning is the same word, kind of the same word in French. Actually, no, it's not, but it's similar. Anyways, so first I have a book from Sophia Thakur, and it's a poetry book. I've read some of the poetry, I liked it, and I think it was in the teens section of the library, and I understand why, but also the fact that it's quite easily readable or accessible made it really easy for me to read as well. So let me read you some of the poetry she has. Talk half, left half, a roaring lion kills no gain. He that beats the drum for the madman to dance is no better than the madman himself. Sake of mouth, fish get caught, silence cannot be misquoted. Ears hard, picnic go to market twice, silence is also a speech. The tongue slips and slides, hurry, hurry has no blessings. The bell rings loudest in your home. When two elephants fight it is the grass that gets trampled, my bad. Even the mightiest eagle comes down to the tree tops to rest. Wait! And it's written in bold and white. Saying I was respecting the timing of the poetry. Anyway, easily readable, short poems, longer poems as well, and quite interesting. Forever love. The last time that we were able to love quietly was the last time I believed in forever love. And even then, there was absolutely nothing silent about the 5 a.m.s we burned through, or the many mornings absorbed into your windscreen that I learned you inside of, until each part of my day was stained by each state of you, K. Then I have Manchester Happened, and I'm really gutted I have to return this book because I really like immigration stories, and it's about the Uganda community, the people coming from Uganda, which I've never read about in fiction, and I've read a lot. Manchester Happened. It's a short story collection, and it was written by Jennifer Nansubuga Makumbi, and the story I started reading really reminded me of Behold the Dreamers, Homegoing. Homegoing is special. It has a special place in my heart, but those immigration stories, Americana as well, it's really different because it centers, like the first story I read centers on a little boy and his really big wish to go back home for Christmas, and so much so that he calls social services for children. It's interesting, and they are based in Manchester. I would really recommend that one because it's easy to read as well, and it's still it feels very raw and very real. So I would recommend that. Oromay is apparently a classic, which I had no idea about. It's written by Bealu Girma, and it's about, or Girma, I'm not sure, and it's about the war in Ethiopia, but like with what happened with Eritrea, and which made me realize I've never read books from this part of the world, this part of the continent, I should say, and I was really baffled that I don't indulge as much as in East African stories as like West African stories. And this one is like historical as well. It's a depiction of propaganda and wartime and easily readable as well. Really enjoyed the beginning that I read, as you can see, and gutted I have to return it, but I'll probably take it back out. And I would really recommend it. Also, the cover is beautiful. Really like the fact that it's, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like I was about to say it's non-traditional, but the covers of like books, especially with black characters, tend to have the like pitch black, you know, post Black Lives Matters art movement, if you know what I mean. Anyways, it's a really good book, like from what I started, and I need to finish it, but I would still recommend it. This one, I did not even get a chance to open it because I was busy with all the other books. And let me just read you the summary. So the title is Skin of the Sea, and it was written by Natasha Bowen. And the summary goes, when you peel back the skin of the sea, you never know what you might find. Simidele is one of the Mamiwata mermaids who collect the souls of those who die at sea and bless their journeys home. But when a boy is thrown overboard a ship of enslaved people, Simi saves his life, going against an ancient decree and bringing terrible danger to the Mamiwata. Now Simi must journey to the supreme creator to make amends, a journey of vengeful gods and treacherous lands. If she fails, she risks not just the fate of the Mamiwata and the boy she loves, but also the world as she knows it. This is a story that would change history. I'm so mad I didn't get to like finish it. I'm gonna try to renew it this one because I'm really big into Afro fantasy, and I really enjoy the myth of Mamiwata as well, coming from West Africa, especially Benin and Togo. And I think if you are into Afro fantasy, you would indulge in this one. It reminds me of The Deep by Rivers Solomon. I think I've mentioned it before. It's a different story, but it's still within the sea with mermaids. And actually, in my podcast, I spoke about a documentary about people that are real life mermaids, as in like in our world right now, not fantasy. And I'm gonna put the link to that episode below because it's quite interesting, the training they go through to become mermaids. It's like an actual performance. The last book I have is a Korean book, so it's not written by a black author. And it's very special to me because I don't want to say it's magical realism because there's a lot of magical elements to it. It feels really not fantasy-like, but magical-like. It's someone who's living like 1,000 lives at the same time, which reminds me of Everything Everywhere All at Once, even though I haven't finished that movie as well. I started in the plane and then it was just difficult to focus on that tiny screen. And I picked that up randomly because spring was coming, trees are blooming, flowers are blooming, blossoming, and hay fever is booming as well. And I love the cover. Like, it's really colorful and pastel-like, and it's called the Marigold Mind Laundry. Wash away the stains from your heart. And I really wish I could finish that book as well and I could tell it's like a brand new acquisition from the library because it's not covered. And let me read you the summary. When young Jiyeon accidentally misuses her powers, causing her entire family to vanish, she vows to spend 1,000,000 lives searching for them. Overnight, in the village of Marigold, she creates her mind laundry, where she converts bad memories into stains on a t-shirt. After a wash, they emerge as red petals that dance in the air. We meet 5 wounded souls, a frustrating young filmmaker, a tortured social media influencer, a distraught mother who has discovered her husband's other family, a young woman two-timed by her lover, and Young Hui, a victim of bullying who escapes into a routine job. Soul-stirring and empowering, Marigold Mind Laundry has already demonstrated its power to move the hearts of thousands of readers. As we laugh, wonder, and grow, we too learn how to tap into the positivity and magic that lie in us all. I started reading this book like randomly in the middle of the night because I've been dealing with a lot of insomnia for the last few weeks, and I didn't know what to expect. I didn't even read the back cover when I picked it up. And it's so magical, so poetic, and actually reminded me of past lives, because I think one of the Korean myths that is mentioned in past life is mentioned in that book as well. You know, the thing with like parallel realities and living many lives at the same times. And I've studied Korean as well as a language, so less as a culture. And I thought it was interesting that just diving into a bit of their cinema or their literature, there's a commonality regarding their mythology, which makes sense because it's the same country. But what I mean is that, when I started reading this, I was like, it reminds me of something that was mentioned by the main character in past life. So I can link that together. So the same way I started indulging into Nigerian literature 10 years ago, and I'm like, they mentioned Ikoyi Island, they mentioned Lagos, and I was reading Welcome to Lagos, and I was reading Americana, and I was reading other books, The Fisherman as well, and I get a sense of the country, or the map of at least some parts of the country, or the culture. And in case you don't have time to travel a lot, or you don't travel for a long time, because I feel like to know a country's culture, you need to spend a lot of time there. Well, you can do that through books, you can do that through movies, you can do that through music, and it's just really heartwarming to be able to just indulge in another culture safely, if you understand what I mean, as in being financially safe, you're buying a book, you're watching a movie, being safe as in like you're not going by yourself, so you're not in danger or anything, like especially as a woman, you're not completely traveling by yourself, and also without fantasizing about the culture or fetishizing the culture, if you understand what I mean. As in, it's not just representation that you get from like the media, as in like you select the book you're going to read, you select the film you're going to watch, which is different from just like pictures on social media, if you understand what I mean. So thank you so much for tuning in that video, and please be patient with me. I'll get around finishing them, and maybe I'll be able to give a proper review. Thank you. Hi everyone, it's me again. It's going to be a really short video because I've been trying to get into building the habit of making consistent video again. I've been struggling with consistency. If you look at my channel, like over the years, you see like over 10 years, like different topics, and I'm discussing different things, and I'm trying this year to commit to publishing a lot more, because I've always enjoyed the medium of video. I've always enjoyed editing, and I've been struggling with just the structure and releasing all the time. So this year I'm just going to see, like, is it ready for you, or do you need to let it go forever, right? I picked up like graphic novels, how do you call them, cartoons, like in French we call them BD, and from the library, and it's like femme fatale cartoons. I was doing some research for some artistic direction I'm making for my music, for my first project that is actually on Spotify and iTunes and Apple Music. It's called Voice de Lorraine, and I wanted to indulge into the stereotype of the femme fatale, the assassin. There's a French rapper, her name is Shy, like that's literally what she does for her visuals. She wears a lot of leather, and she has this slick back hair, like really short. She has this big like AK-47, and this like she's an assassin, like a killer. And I was just like, let me just read over this and about this. And I know it's full of stereotypes and cliche and a bit misogynistic as well, but also I feel like I haven't consumed that medium forever. I used to consume a lot of that when I was younger. I'm talking about graphic novels. So here I have Valentine Red Rain. I actually started this one, and I think it's not the first of the collection, so I was a bit lost as to what's going on. There's a brief like summary of what's up with her and how did she come about, like, in the scene. And where I'm at in the book, she's with her therapist discussing the many people she killed, and she's working in a restaurant, trying to have a normal life, and then adventures happen again. She's forced back into that role, right, that she doesn't want to do. Let me read you the summary. Can an assassin ever quit the business? Meet Dana Valentine, a gun for hire, who abandoned her profession for a clean slate at life. That's what I was telling you. She has taken shelter with an Italian restaurant owner who saved her life at one time. Now burdened with debt and the Russian mob on his back, he's on the brink of losing it all. Can a former assassin risk all to save another? New problems abound for Valentine, bringing her past full circle in a decision that will change the outcome of the future, if she survives to have one first. Ooh. So I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't particularly impressed by the drawings, and not by the story either. But then again, I've just read the beginning, so I need to finish it to actually give you a proper review. And it made me realize I don't think I like those type of that genre of graphic novel that much. When I was younger, I used to love it, and now I'm just like, nah, it's quite boring or unimaginative. But then again, I would need to actually spend a lot of time exploring that genre. So let me show you some of the drawings. Some of the fight scenes were a bit disappointing, and as someone who grew up reading a lot of Japanese manga, maybe that's the reason. It wasn't properly structured. Do you get what I'm saying? Another femme fatale, Lady S. And her name is Susie, and as you can see, she's wearing, this suit, really feline, really Catwoman-like. I don't know what she's up to. I need to read this, but here's the summary. Adopted daughter and principal collaborator of James Fitzroy, roving ambassador, special correspondent to the American Secretary of State in Europe, Susan is a clever, multilingual young woman, in full bloom and perfectly happy in the eyes of her attentive father. But this too perfect happiness hides many faults, sorrows, and mysteries. Tried by her past, Susan will have to play her most dangerous role in a life already rich with adventure. Lady S, high-class spy in a diplomatic environment. I think I would love that one more because it's more political, maybe, and I do enjoy political stories. Oh, and it's in color as well. And finally, we have Modesty Blaze, $1 Million Game. Let me read you the summary. The dark underworld of espionage, and crime is lit up by the fatal charms of the gorgeous Modesty Blaze, high priestess of pulp crime and goddess of cult thrillers. Modesty and Willie become the most dangerous type of game when a visit to Africa put them in the firing line of a gang of unscrupulous poachers. A mock cowboy shootout in a Wyoming frontier town turns bloody when ghosts of the Wild West return to wreak their vengeance. And the supernatural theme continues when Modesty visits a remote village in Transylvania, only to discover that a spate of recent murders may have been caused by a blood-sucking vampire. Ooh. Comics is the word that I was looking for, and I've never been deep into comics, just very surface level understanding of comics, very surface level liking of comics. And I wonder if there's a comic that I would enjoy so much that I would buy several volumes or several books. And the fact that there's element of fantasy makes me much more attracted to that one compared to the two other ones. This one is not in color, but the drawing is the details are a bit better. a bit better. Like, I'm trying to get back into like comics, but it's been difficult. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed that video. I know it's a short one, but again, I'm trying to build the habit of releasing videos constantly, and it's a lot of work, as you guys know now. But when I started back then, we were just doing it for fun, right? So yeah, thank you. Bye bye.